Let us step away from the computer screen for a minute.
We have talked a lot about the digital world and content creation.
But there is a physical reality to learning a language.
We cannot ignore the fact that speaking is a physical action.
The brain is part of the body, and the mouth has muscles.
The absolute best way to understand this process is to look at fitness.
The gym is the perfect metaphor for achieving perfect communication.
Think about it. You cannot get fit by just watching fitness videos.
You can watch bodybuilding tutorials on YouTube all day long.
You can know the names of every muscle in the human body.
But until you actually pick up the weights, nothing changes.
Your muscles will not grow just from theoretical knowledge.
Language is exactly the same. You have to put in the reps.
Imagine you are working with a personal trainer. Let us say his name is Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva gives you a routine. He watches your movements.
And what is the first thing a good trainer tells you?
Focus on your form, not the weight.
Exactly. If you try to lift too heavy with bad form, you get injured.
In English, lifting too heavy means trying to speak too fast.
Or trying to use incredibly complex academic words before you're ready.
When you do that, your form breaks down. Your pronunciation gets messy.
The native speaker gets confused and your confidence gets injured.
So you have to lower the weight. Slow down your speaking speed.
Focus entirely on the form. Focus on clear, precise articulation.
Once your form is perfect, then you can slowly increase the speed.
Muscle memory is the key to both bodybuilding and language fluency.
When you practice a specific phrase over and over again,
Like, how have you been lately? Or what do you think about this?
your mouth learns the physical pathway to make those sounds.
You do not have to think about the grammar anymore.
Just like a basketball player doesn't think about the physics of a free throw.
They just shoot the ball because their muscles remember the feeling.
This is why consistency beats intensity every single time.
Going to the gym for 9 hours on a Sunday will not make you strong.
It'll just make you incredibly sore and you'll quit on Monday.
But going for 30 minutes every day will transform your physique.
Studying English for 5 hours once a week is the exact same trap.
You forget most of it by the time the next session comes around.
You need that daily stimulus to tell your brain this is important.
Let us take the fitness metaphor even deeper into the culture.
In the gym, there are phases. There's the bulking phase and the cutting phase.
This maps perfectly onto language acquisition.
The bulking phase is when you're taking in a massive amount of calories.
In English, this is the comprehensible input phase.
You're consuming everything: podcasts, movies, articles, YouTube videos.
You are just absorbing words, idioms, and sentence structures.
You're building the raw mass of your vocabulary.
But during a bulk, the muscles are hidden. It's not very defined.
Your speaking might be a bit messy. You have a lot of words, but maybe not the perfect structure.
And that's completely fine. It's part of the process.
Because eventually you enter the cutting phase.
The cutting phase is all about definition and refinement.
In language, this is when you start focusing heavily on your output.
You start recording yourself speaking, you do intensive shadowing.
You hire a tutor or use language exchange apps to get corrections.
You trim away the grammar mistakes and sharpen your pronunciation.
The raw mass of words you built during the bulk finally looks beautiful and structured.
Knowing which phase you're in takes away so much frustration.
If you're struggling to speak, maybe you just need to go back to bulking.
Consume more input until the words naturally overflow.
Now, let us shift from the rhythm of the gym to the rhythm of music.
Because English is an incredibly musical language.
We talked about stress and intonation before, but let's look at the broader picture.
A conversation is essentially a live DJ set.
That's a brilliant way to look at it.
When you're DJing, you have to read the room.
You can't just play a massive high-energy festival track at a quiet lounge.
And you can't play slow chill house at the peak of a nightclub party.
You have to match the BPM, the beats per minute of the environment.
Conversations work exactly the same way.
If someone comes to you speaking slowly and softly,
And you reply speaking at 100 miles per hour with loud energy.
the communication breaks down, the vibes clash.
Perfect communication means synchronizing your energy with the other person.
It's called vocal mirroring.
If they're excited, you raise your pitch and match their excitement.
If they're discussing something serious, you lower your volume and slow your pace.
You are mixing your track into their track seamlessly.
Think about the genres of electronic music.
Deep house, slap house, Brazilian bass.
Each genre has a specific groove, a specific pocket where the bass hits.
English has a pocket too. It's the natural pause between thoughts.
Native speakers use filler words to stay in the pocket while they think.
Words like, well, you know, or I mean.
These are the hi-hats and snares that keep the beat going between the main lyrics.
These are the background beat that support the main speaker.
It proves you're actively listening.
Let us combine these two metaphors, the gym and the music.
You need the discipline of the bodybuilder and the ear of the DJ.
The discipline makes you show up every single day at a practice you're shadowing.
The discipline makes you write your daily vocabulary journal even when you're tired.
But the ear of the DJ is what makes you sound human.
It's what allows you to connect with the emotion of the room.
When you have both, you become unstoppable.
But there's an enemy that tries to destroy both your discipline and your rhythm.
And that enemy is comparison.
Social media is wonderful for learning, but it's terrible for your ego.
You log on to Instagram or TikTok and you see polyglots speaking 10 languages perfectly.
You see a 10-year-old kid speaking English better than you.
The imposter syndrome comes rushing back.
You think, what's the point? I'll never be that good.
But you're comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to their highlight reel.
That video you just watched, they probably recorded it 20 times.
They probably wrote a script and rehearsed it for an hour.
You don't see the mistakes they made off camera.
In the gym, you don't compare your day 1 to someone else's day 1,000.
If you try to lift the same weight as the biggest guy in the gym, you'll get crushed.
You have to focus on your own progression chart.
Did you learn one new word today? That's a victory.
Did you understand a YouTube video slightly better than last month? That's a victory.
Keep your eyes on your own lane.
Because the truth is, the world doesn't need you to be a flawless polyglot.
The world just needs you to share your ideas.
The world wants to hear your unique perspective, your expertise.
Whether you're talking about music production or video editing or fitness.
Your value comes from what you're saying, not just how perfectly you pronounce it.
English is the bridge, but your knowledge is the cargo.
Don't let a slightly wobbly bridge stop you from delivering the cargo.
Build the bridge day by day. Reinforce it with practice.
But never stop moving across it.
We've given you a massive toolkit over these discussions.
You have strategies for overcoming the internal translator.
You know how to use connected speech to understand fast talkers.
You know how to use gaming and Discord for real-time survival practice.
You know how to turn your software and your hobbies into an immersion environment.
And now you know how to treat your practice like a physical workout.
The blueprint is completely laid out in front of you.
The only variable left in the equation is you.
It's your willingness to make mistakes and look a little bit foolish.
Because every master of a language looked foolish at the beginning.
Embrace the awkwardness. Laugh at your own errors.
And keep pushing that boulder up the hill.
One day, you'll wake up, you'll have a conversation, and you'll realize you didn't even think about the fact that you were speaking English.
It just flowed out of you like water.
That's the moment of perfect communication.
And it's waiting for every single one of you.
Keep putting in the reps, keep finding your rhythm.
And we'll see you at the finish line.
Take care, everyone. Keep up the amazing work. But gaming is just one side of the digital world.
There is a whole other layer to this online immersion.
What happens when you aren't playing, but you are creating?
Or when you are trying to upgrade the machine you play on.
Yes, let us talk about the technical and creative side of the internet.
Because the absolute best place to learn technical skills is the English internet.
Let us say you want to build a new PC.
You want to understand the compatibility between different processors.
Or you are researching the best water coolers for your setup.
If you search for that information in your native language, the results are limited.
But if you search in English, you unlock thousands of detailed reviews.
You find massive forums with people discussing every single hardware detail.
And suddenly, you're learning complex tech vocabulary without trying.
You are reading about thermal paste, clock speeds, and airflow.
You're watching long YouTube tutorials on how to assemble the parts.
And because you care so much about your computer, you pay deep attention.
The visual context is all there. You see the parts, you hear the words.
This is comprehensible input at its absolute finest.
And it goes way beyond just hardware.
Let us talk about the software side, specifically for creatives.
Video editing, motion graphics, audio mixing,
These are highly sought-after skills today.
and almost all professional editing software is built in English.
A lot of people try to translate their software interface.
They put their editing program in their native language.
That is a huge mistake for a language learner.
It really is. You're robbing yourself of daily exposure.
Keep your software in English. Learn the real names of the tools.
Learn words like timeline, render, keyframe, and crossfade.
Because when you run into a problem, you need to search for a solution.
And the best troubleshooting guides are always in English.
If you don't know the English name of the tool, you cannot search for the tutorial.
Exactly. If you want to learn an advanced motion graphics trick,
You will find 10 times more tutorials if you search in English.
you watch the screen, you follow the mouse clicks, and you listen to the instructor.
You are learning how to be a better video editor and a better English speaker at the same time.
It's a double return on your time investment.
Now, let's add the newest technology to this mix.
Artificial intelligence.
AI is completely changing how we create content.
Generating images, generating videos, writing scripts.
And what is the native language of AI?
English.
If you want to use the best AI tools, you have to prompt them in English.
If you try to prompt an image generator in another language, the results are usually bad.
The models are trained primarily on English data.
So, to get that perfect cinematic shot or that specific aesthetic,
You have to become a master of English adjectives and descriptive nouns.
you're forced to expand your vocabulary just to get the AI to understand you.
You learn the difference between terms like blurred background and depth of field.
You learn how to describe lighting, camera angles, and textures.
Prompt engineering is basically just advanced English practice.
And it's highly addictive because the visual reward is instant.
You type a sentence, hit enter, and see if your English was accurate.
If the image looks wrong, you know your English prompt needs work.
It's a perfect feedback loop for a language learner.
So we have the hardware, the editing, and the AI.
What do you do with all of these skills?
You create content, you put it out into the world.
And this is where the magic really happens for fluency.
Instead of just consuming English YouTube videos, start making them.
You don't even have to show your face if you don't want to.
You can run a music channel
Uploading mixes of deep house, slap house, or chill house.
or a channel dedicated to helping others learn English.
Documenting your own journey and sharing tips.
When you run a YouTube channel in English, you practice output constantly.
You have to write engaging video titles.
You have to write detailed descriptions and use the right tags.
You're basically studying SEO, search engine optimization, in a foreign language.
You're figuring out what words people are clicking on.
You are A/B testing different English hooks to see what works best.
This requires a very deep understanding of cultural nuances.
Why does one title get views and another gets ignored?
It's usually because of the emotional weight of the English words you chose.
Learning the emotional weight of words is peak fluency.
And then you have the comment section.
When people start commenting on your videos, you have to reply.
Now you're practicing conversational written English.
You're defending your opinions, answering technical questions, or just saying thank you.
You're building an international community around your personal interests.
And this completely changes your identity as a speaker.
You stop being a student who's practicing English, and you become a global creator who uses English to reach the world.
That mental shift is the most powerful thing we've talked about today.
When English becomes your tool for creation, you'll never lose it.
It gets hardwired into your brain alongside your passions.
Think about how much time people spend scrolling on TikTok or YouTube.
Hours and hours every single day.
If you just shift that algorithm to English,
You will be exposed to millions of words a month.
create a separate account if you have to.
Yes, a brand new account where you only follow English speakers.
Only watch English tech reviews, English fitness channels, English comedy.
Train the algorithm to treat you like a native speaker.
The algorithm will become your most aggressive English teacher.
It will feed you new slang and new concepts and new speaking styles endlessly.
And because it's tailored to your hobbies, you'll never get bored.
If you love bodybuilding, watch professional bodybuilders explaining their routines in English.
You'll learn all the anatomical terms and the gym culture slang.
Words like spotting, bulking, cutting, or hitting a plateau.
You can use those exact same concepts when talking about learning a language.
Everything is connected when you build a lifestyle around the language.
You don't study English, you live in it.
You edit in it, you build computers in it, you prompt AI in it.
This is the absolute blueprint for making it easy and natural.
It's not about talent, it's about environment design.
Design an environment where avoiding English is impossible.
Make your digital world an English-only zone.
And watch how fast that internal translator disappears.
Your brain is incredibly adaptable.
Give it the right inputs and the perfect communication will follow.
Start that YouTube channel, edit that video, write that prompt.
Use the language to build something you're proud of.
The fluency will build itself in the background.
We are so excited to see what you create.
Keep pushing those boundaries, keep creating, and keep speaking.
Have a wonderful week of learning and creating, everyone. Let's transition to a completely different environment.
An environment where you don't even need to leave your bedroom.
But you can still talk to native speakers every single day.
We are talking about the world of online gaming.
Specifically, using voice chat platforms like Discord.
This is honestly the ultimate language hack for the modern age.
People used to think playing video games was a waste of time.
But for a language learner, it is a high-speed immersion chamber.
Think about how traditional learning works.
You sit in a quiet room and you slowly think about grammar.
There is no urgency. There is no real consequence.
But when you are playing a multiplayer team game,
The urgency is absolutely massive.
if you don't communicate quickly, your whole team loses.
This completely destroys the internal translator we talked about.
You literally do not have the time to translate in your head.
If an enemy is behind your teammate, you can't think of the perfect sentence.
You can't pause and think, "Excuse me, there's an opponent approaching from the rear."
By the time you say that, the game is already over.
You just scream, "Behind you, watch out!"
And that instant reaction is the definition of fluency.
Your brain connects the English words directly to the survival instinct.
You bypass your native language entirely.
Let's break down how to actually start doing this.
Because jumping into an English Discord server can be scary.
It is very intimidating at first. The speed is crazy.
The first step is picking the right kind of game.
You need a game that forces cooperation but has downtime.
Tactical shooters or survival games are great for this.
You have moments of intense action where you use quick callouts.
And then you have moments of walking or looting where you can just chat.
MMOs or massive multiplayer games are also fantastic.
You join a guild and you suddenly have 30 new English-speaking friends.
But how do you actually find these people?
You don't just use the random matchmaking in the game.
Random matchmaking is usually chaotic and nobody talks.
You need to actively join community Discord servers.
Almost every popular game has a massive public server.
You join the server and you look for the voice channels.
Usually they're labeled things like looking for group.
This is where you have to take a deep breath and jump in.
You join the voice channel and you just say hello.
Anyone looking for one more player?
That is all it takes to start the interaction.
Now, let's talk about the specific vocabulary of gaming.
Gaming has its own entire dialect of English.
And it is actually incredibly useful for real life.
Words like lag, spawn, loot, or clutch.
Native speakers use these gaming words in business meetings now.
I hear people say, "I really clutched that presentation."
Or, I need another coffee to buff my energy levels.
By learning gamer slang, you're learning modern internet culture.
And it makes you sound so much more natural.
But what happens when you join the voice channel and you can't understand them?
Because gamers use terrible microphones sometimes. They have background noise, or they speak incredibly fast.
This is where you use the shared context to survive.
You don't need to understand every word they say about their personal life.
You just need to understand the game vocabulary.
If they say a bunch of words you don't know but point at a door,
You know you need to look at the door.
the visual context of the screen acts like training wheels for your listening.
It's just like watching a movie, but you're controlling the camera.
Over time, your ear will tune into their specific accents.
You'll start predicting what they are going to say before they say it.
Because in gaming, the situations repeat themselves constantly.
The phrase, drop your weapons, will sound exactly the same every match.
Repetition in a stressful environment builds rock-solid memory.
Now we have to address the elephant in the room.
The toxicity of online gaming.
Because not everyone on the internet is a nice person.
Sometimes gamers get very angry when they're losing.
They might yell, they might use bad language.
They might even complain about your accent or your English.
If this happens, you have to remember one golden rule.
It is not about you, it's about them.
Toxic players insult native speakers just as much as they insult foreigners.
They're just looking for a reason to be angry at the game.
Do not let a 12-year-old on the internet ruin your confidence.
You have the most powerful weapon in the digital world.
The mute button.
Use it generously.
Do not argue with toxic people.
If someone is rude, just click their name, press mute, and keep practicing.
Protect your peace and protect your learning environment.
The goal is to filter through the bad apples to find the good ones.
Because when you find a good group of players, it's magic.
You start playing with them every Friday night.
You learn their voices, you learn their play styles.
And eventually, the conversation shifts away from the game.
You're waiting in the lobby and someone asks about your day.
They ask what the weather's like in your country.
They ask what you do for a living.
Suddenly, you weren't just calling out enemy positions anymore.
You are having a complex, natural conversation about life.
You're doing it in English without any anxiety.
Because the pressure is removed. They are your friends now.
This happens thousands of times a day on Discord.
People learn English fluently without ever opening a textbook.
They just wanted to play their favorite game.
And fluency was the accidental byproduct of having fun.
That's the ultimate goal of comprehensible input.
The input is so engaging that you forget you're learning.
If you're a gamer listening to this, you have no excuse.
Stop playing on servers in your native language.
Switch your GOM client to English.
Join the North American or European Discord servers.
Force yourself into the deep end of the pool.
You will drown a little bit on the first day,
You'll probably lose a few matches because of miscommunication.
but by day 10, you will be swimming perfectly.
Let's give a practical roadmap for someone starting tonight.
Step 1. Download Discord if you don't have it.
Step 2. Find the official server for your favorite multiplayer game.
Step 3. Spend 10 minutes just lurking in a voice channel.
Lurking means you join, you mute your microphone, and you just listen.
Get a feel for the speed and the vocabulary they're using.
Step 4. Unmute your mic and say hi.
Just tell them, hey guys, my English isn't perfect, but I want to play.
99% of the time, they'll say, no problem, jump in.
Gamers just want teammates who try hard and communicate.
If you give them basic information, they'll love having you.
And step 5, add the nice people to your friends list.
Build your own private network of English-speaking gaming buddies.
It's basically free language tutoring disguised as entertainment.
You're getting hours of speaking practice that would cost a fortune with a private teacher.
And you're actually enjoying the process.
It's the perfect loop of motivation and reward.
You communicate better, you win more games, you feel great.
So plug in your headset, check your microphone, and get online.
A whole new world of fluency is waiting in those voice channels.
Treat every match as a speaking exam where the only grade is having fun.
That wraps up our gaming deep dive.
Go secure those wins and practice that English.
Have a great time on the servers, everyone.